Welcome to Entre Nous on France 24 with Solange Mougin. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Jamie.
It is truly summer in France, and today you are focusing on how the French party.
Yeah, summertime for France, you get a sense of its sens de la fête, or its festive spirit. It's a moment for it to shine, be it with the solstices of Fête de la Musique at the very start, to the National Day on July 14th, to the Fête de Vendange, or the wine harvest parties at the end. But of late, there's been quite a bit of controversy about French banquets. So I thought we'd focus specifically on this issue and then what's creating it, and then we'll get into other forms of French parties in the summer. So, les banquets, or banquets. They have a very rich history in France, one stemming from ancient Greece and gatherings around a feast to debate, philosophize, celebrate. And in France, there's also been a long political aspect to them as well. This began during the French Revolution as a way to come together around a table as equals and to share political ideas and values. And this eventually led to what's now called les banquets républicains. Now, I mention this because these meals with long tables and benches, they still carry much cultural weight in France. But the ones that are creating a controversy now are private events held by a company called Lukano français, the French canon. And they began holding these essentially gigantic dinner parties across France in 2021. For around 80 euros, so it's quite a price tag, a diner could taste regional specialties, sing patriotic songs together, drink, Asterix and Obelix play a role holding up a roast pig, which also plays a starring role. Michel Sardou's Lac de Connemara is often sung as well, as is the Marseillaise, by thousands in unison. It sounds like fun, and many that attend say that it is just that. Collectively, they're paying tribute to France. But the controversy comes in regard to who is actually attending, the ideals that they're gathering around, and who is backing what critics say is a reappropriation of popular culture. In May, the French radio station France Inter investigated claims of neo-Nazi supporters, far-right nationalists, and racists gathering at these events. And not only did they see with a hidden camera and record diners doing Nazi salutes, which we see there, but also racist and xenophobic testimonies abounded, like diners boasting that the pork served was a way to be at ease or tranquille because Muslims or Jews, they don't come because of the pork. Others expressed a joy of being among themselves, that outside they are with animals, end quote. And in the France Inter report, as well as others done on these banquets, this line of us versus them is quite prevalent, as is the desire to have fun.
We came mostly for the atmosphere, to have fun among friends. There are 10 of us.
We love everyone, but here we're gathering around our French values. Maybe the people that don't come don't share our values because maybe they're born elsewhere and don't have the same culture or values that we have.
Solange, as you were saying, there has been a lot of media attention around these canonniers, as they're called, particularly in regard to who is backing them.
Yeah, these banquets have become a part of a larger cultural war in France. The ultra-conservative billionaire Pierre-Edouard Sterrin, he bought a stake in the canon, which is said to be 30%. And Sterrin has openly stated his desire to put the far right in power in 2027 and invest in popular cultural events to convert others to his fervent Catholic ideals, be it charity events, best festival lists, or even Boy Scout groups. Sterrin admitted this particularly after his 150 million euro plan, Pericles, was reported on by L'Humanité in 2024. However, for the founders of Le Canon, they insist that they are not political, that their charter stipulates this, and that Sterrin's money doesn't change anything.
The 30% stake does not give management rights or votes. Our events haven't changed in 5 years. It's not true that there's a link with his political project, which he's allowed to have and which can be fought. But that's not our issue.
Now, it's important to note that Sterlin's involvement and these events, they have caused outrage, even protests, cancellations, a formal investigation. Mayors and journalists have also faced threats online and smear campaigns for calling out these events, saying that they are not just fun and games.
Okay, so Solange, let's step away from the canon banquets for a moment. What other kinds of fun or other kinds of banquets or dining experiences are there out there?
Well, the controversy is raising important questions about culture and media wars in France. How communities could be in the midst of being instrumentalized, particularly rural ones with this love of the terroir. How things like charity events, best party lists may actually be discreetly sponsored by the far right and billionaires. How amusement parks like the Puy du Fou that experts say is rewriting history. So culture and fun has become an ideological battleground, and it's not just the far right. Le Monde has an interesting editorial by its editor-in-chief in early June that argues that unauthorized gatherings, often raves or what's called in France free parties, they are also being instrumentalized by the far left, particularly with the government cracking down on them. So both the banquets and the free parties have become symbols of this dividing line. But Le Monde argues there are alternatives, like the Republican banquets or any number of other collective ways to faire la fête or to have fun. And France still really excels at this, be it gigantic picnics, music festivals, collective dictations, all-night museum crawls, or the ever so many fêtes de village or village parties that happen across the country where communities come together to gather and enjoy one another and life in France.
Solange, thank you so much for that, France 24. Solange Mougin, if you want to get a look at that entre nous or any others we've done before, you can always check them out on our website. That address is france24.com.